Greetings, Dork Oracle. Are you hearing me now?
Hello.
Excellent. How are you, Dork Oracle? We're live now, by the way. Sorry, my kind of, perhaps slightly mismanaged, some things.
Fair enough. I'm well. How are you?
Reasonably well, thank you. I don't know if you're watching the live stream, but I've put together a new set. This is still a bit of a work in progress, but I think you might find it rather novel.
Okay, salvage now.
I like it. That looks really good.
Greetings, teammates. I'm presently playing a game called Vox Machina, and it stands, if they do a good job of it, to be sort of a, well, ballad successor to the Mech Warrior line. I'm intrigued.
Location, Serpent Plains, atmosphere, 1 Earth gravity, ambient temperature, 341 Kelvin. Active, recover salvage protected, turn points. New salvage located, destroy all scavengers and capture it.
That's a bit better. Oh, wait a second, that was an ally. That's right, I'm on blue team this time. Whoops. Are you still there, Dork Oracle?
Yes. Sorry.
Excellent. How have you been? Is the Motorscar project coming along well?
Yes, it's going good. I just have to take some proper photos in RAW format. But I just haven't found the time just yet. But people have been telling me recently to start up my own channel, sort of thing, and do some videos, but I just haven't found anything to do videos on. How are you?
Well now, although my time management skills are terrible, and I could have had so much more done by now, in theory.
Oh well, these things happen.
Oh. I'm sorry, we're saying you're doing video reviews or something such?
Oh, people were telling me to start up my own channel and do some videos, but I just haven't found anything to do videos on.
Ah. Well, it's all a matter of finding something that has you so suitably enraged or interested that you're willing to suffer through the editing. And I think, let's see. Oh, Saki, greetings. Want to talk for a bit? We're going to some geometry. Understood. Miss Steam, greetings. Dorky defeated the current decent enemy. Somebody out there to watch. It's nice to hear opinions. Miss Steam suggests games. Memes destruction, greetings. I'm driving a mech for the time being. I plan on stopping this fairly soon, in favor of digging up some articles. What can I say? I'm kind of winging it.
Nothing wrong with winning it.
I wonder if that gent really is playing fair. Seems an awful lot of time in the air. These things aren't loaded with that many jump jets. But I do love they are rigged up with jump sets. And the creators of the game have had a very clever idea of, you know, having these things do damage when they bump into each other properly. In fact, it's a major way of attack, or at least to one design. Namely the one that I'm in.
Sucky says Mechs are always fun.
Mechs are great. I don't see them as being practical in the near future, but oh, if only. Come here, you bastard.
Hello.
Hello!
Oh. Luckily, the geometry assignment was only like 5 questions, so.
Ah, well, congratulations on getting it through. If you could, one of you could see fit to keep an eye on chat and inform me if anything important is there. I would like to reply, but there's no chat readout in the cockpit, and I have to dodge out in order to spot it. How are you doing, Deathwing, yes?
I'm doing pretty well.
I'm glad to hear it.
Hello.
So,
Only issue is, I feel like with the way my back is, I feel like a 60-year-old in a 16-year-old's body.
curious. And you sound even older.
Well, that's all just due to the voice.
And yeah.
Gonna have to mute you so I don't get an echo.
That's...
I'll just put on headphones, sorry.
Well, you should mute the live stream. Steam? One.
Well, I'm using a phone.
Ah, Steam, you learn voice as well. Hey guys, what's going on? This is not MechWarrior Means Destruction, it's Vox Machina, although, considering the state of MechWarrior presently, it might be the better. One of the best mechs I've seen is the Shogun Executioner from CNC3. Would take that then down High Street. Yes, wouldn't. Well, I'll be honest. I would be happy to take any mech down the street anywhere, but not exactly discreet. And I get into enough trouble as it is. Steam, how are you doing?
I've been working on artwork for my channel. Little doll things, like Easter eggs for the YouTubers
Crap.
and me.
Oh, the dolls, yes.
I'm making one of you.
Oh, really? I am in the well, I don't know if you've seen my new set here, but that's one of the things I've been working on lately. At some point, though, I intend on taking every doll you make and then try to render it in my own 3D system thing.
Ah, that's sweet.
So, by all means, please keep up with that. Besides, doesn't everyone want a dolly of themselves? I mean, Saki might be redundant for him personally, but...
Someone said that they like my Steam doll so much and they're gonna like make one in real life. Which is gonna be pretty cool. But, yeah, I can't wait to see your iteration of the dolls. I think that's pretty cool.
time no hear.
Ah, indeed.
It looks like you're actually doing some severe damage to your opponents there, Arketer.
Looks can be deceiving, but certainly I took out that jerk.
Oh dear. Mike,
Slight geometry fail on my part there.
I have a question for everyone.
Oh, by all means, please ask away.
It's a rather strange problem I have with my computer. It's very, very weird. And my father, who is basically a computer geek that's been with computers since computers were a thing, has said he's never seen it before.
Really?
Yeah. I call it cheeseburger mode.
I see.
What?
So,
My PC does something. Yes? It does something, and then in the middle of doing that something, it stops. It just stops. And then it pauses, and then I see 33% disk usage, my task manager, and it becomes completely unresponsive. And then, like 30 seconds or so later, it goes right back to normal as if it didn't happen. I call it cheeseburger.
Might have a virus. Sounds like a virus to me.
I've checked. I have 3 different antivirus systems installed on my PC. All of them have come back clean. I do regular maintenance every single first of the month every month. Full defrag, full virus scan.
It sounds like your computer is trying to load, has an issue, stops, and then resets itself.
I call it cheeseburger mode. It goes like, okay, I'm gonna open this file, I'm gonna check this disk, I'm gonna check the cheeseburger! Okay, then I'm not gonna check this file, and then I'm gonna check that file. It basically stops mid what it's doing. It's like it almost has Alzheimer's. It's like it forgets what it's doing halfway through. But all things considered, my C drive, upon which my operating system is currently installed, there is that hard drive is about 14 years old, so that might be the problem.
Yeah, that could definitely be the issue.
14 years old. My computer's only 7 years old, and it freezes, makes weird noises, and won't charge.
Thank you for the information, Saki. I have actually already tried all that. I did attempt to remove one of my antivirus systems once, and I immediately got hit by a Trojan, so... Cha-ching!
Well, if the glitch and disaster accordingly is especially rare, I guess you could look for a collector.
Well, I suppose I could try that.
There's probably some Silicon Valley tech nerd who actually pays top dollar for such a thing. I have no idea how they confirm quality, though.
For a very rare and unique problem with my computer. It is, in fact, Win 10, the latest update. But yeah, apparently my dad, who's been with computers since computers were computers, has stated he's encountered every single problem you can think of, including the blue screen of death on a brand new PC. He's never seen it before. And removing the latest update is not going to work. This has been happening for about 2 years now. It doesn't appear to actually damage my computer or anything like that. It just appears to just simply stop what it's doing and forget momentarily what it is doing. It doesn't actually seem to be doing any harm. It's just really, 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 really weird. I've talked on Reddit. Hell, I've even asked 4chan for help with this. They got nothing.
Hmm.
Don't ever ask for time again. Just say.
I wish I could say more, but I'm nowhere near as tech savvy when it comes to computers as everyone else. I'm mostly. I deal with Xboxes. Really deal with PC.
Don't forget to lead your targets, Arketer.
Yes, noted. Normally I'm doing better. Doing this while on a live stream, I suppose, is a bit of a sort of super hard mode in many ways. But this is, you know, early access, so if I botch it terribly, no one's going to keep a record. Except for the live stream.
There is one game that I will definitively so recommend, especially for you, Arketer. Well, two games, actually. They're both still unreleased, but they are upcoming. One is called Pantropy. The other is called Satisfactory. You might find both of them quite interesting. Satisfactory is basically a... have you ever heard of a game called Factorio?
Why, yes. In fact, one undercover weeb bought me the game. And I've been playing around with it a fair bit. Not something I stream very often, though, because... while it is very zen, it's not...
It's very in-depth.
Yes.
Well, Satisfactory is basically a full 3D multiplayer pimped out version of Factorio on cocaine.
That sounds fun.
That's Satisfactory. It's basically a full 3D version of Factorio. Including the final end game of, you know...
Whoa.
Whoopsie, we lost. Oh well.
Yes. Well, this is because I wasn't here at the beginning of the match.
Yeah, well, it is including the final end game of building a rocket or some kind of superstructure and accomplishing something.
Interesting.
Yeah. It's ongoing development. The developers actually have a YouTube channel, which they post status updates and devlogs and other things. Alpha, 7 Days to Die is also getting a new update, Alpha 17, and that Alpha 17 looks to be a complete, absolute overhaul of the entire game, right down to the source code.
Oh,
They
really?
completely reprinted it. Yeah, it's why it's been Alpha 16.4 for about 6, maybe 7 months. I think. Not sure. Don't take my word on that, but it appears as though it is a complete overhaul. They've just added. He rebuilt it. It says a new Unity engine attached to it, so obviously new physics, new graphics. It's going to be quite interesting. And well, yeah. This other game, Pantropy. You obviously you're intelligent enough to know about the concept of terraforming.
I am indeed. There's a game called Terra Genesis that I have on tablet, just in case I want to watch the red planet turn green.
Well, Pantropy is basically the opposite of terraforming. Instead of adapting the environment to fit you, you adapt to fit the environment. And Pantropy is the first of its kind. It is a survival game. Survival, standard collect resources, build base, and other such kinds of things. Except for one little detail. You can build your own mechs in it.
Okay, now you've got my attention.
The Pantropy devs have a live stream and a Kickstarter and all of that stuff, and apparently the game is set for release in 2019. But yes, it has fully customizable mechs, and the devs actually do have plans to access the Steam Workshop, so people can build their own mech designs inside the game and release them. And it's full multiplayer with both PvP and PvE elements. But the game devs are among the few that actually understand the concept that people really hate being raided offline. So they're basically building their game around the concept of no offline raiding, which is going to be extremely fun, I can tell you that much.
Now, will this be limited to PC only, or will I have access to this game as well on console?
It is an indie title, so it is extremely likely that you'll unfortunately have this only on PC. But that is still clouds, because it hasn't even been released yet, and it is not due for release for at least another 3, maybe 4 months. I mean, the game is still in its beginning, still testing stages, and they're actually still checking out the source code and all that stuff, and only just starting to test mass multiplayer systems. But oh my god, does it look good. Master Race.
I'm intrigued. I will have to keep open for... I open both those titles, but most especially the one with Mechs.
Well, if you want Mechs, Pantropy is your game. I am actually planning on purchasing it as soon as it is out. As soon as it is actually released for Steam, I am going to purchase it. Then I'm going to play it, and I'm actually going to start recording a survival series for my YouTube channel on it. And I wholeheartedly invite you, Arketer, to join me in playing some multiplayer with that game.
Absolutely. We will make a point of it the moment it's released. Well, assuming the petty budget holds, which should... Pending.
I should never have named myself Miss Steam.
Why is that?
I'm very confused when people are talking about Steam.
Oh, yes. Well, Miss Superheated Water just wouldn't have been the same.
Don't worry, I have the same issue with my real name.
Deathwing the Destroyer. So people sometimes mistake you for Lifewing the Creator.
No, that's Alex Straza.
Dear.
Yeah, put in a screenshot of an artwork I'm doing at the moment. What do you guys think? Just in general. I just thought it.
Scroll down. Take a look. I shall... Ooh! That's nice, actually. It's nice. A lot of purple, though.
Yes, this planet is a bit, weird, crystal lightning-y.
I shall put, so if you're interested in Pantropy, I shall post some links in the Discord for everyone.
Please do.
Yeah, you're right, Saki. Purple is good. There is a limit to how much purple can be in one place. There's, I think, maybe you could make the curtains a slightly lighter shade or something. But it is very good. It's actually quite pretty. But still, it's my personal preference. Don't go too into it. But personally, I think there is a limit to how much purple you can have.
Unless you're Lex Luthor or the Joker.
Yes, indeed.
I thought Lex Luthor's thing was green.
Purple and green, because of course he has to go for the single worst color combination possible.
Ah.
You know, any other color combination just wouldn't be as evil.
Not as good as black and white, but still good, says Saki.
Nah, black and white's pretty stylish. Purple and green, not so much.
The purple and green is the
I've
color.
always been fond of the colors black and red.
And it's always a classic combination as well. I suppose...
My colors are dark gray and navy blue.
green, gray, black in that order here. Now it's just black and white and gray, but... favorites remain.
Yeah, I've been trying to keep on the color palette recently. I've just been trying new things. 20. 20. 20. 20. 20. 20. 20. 20. 20. 20. 20. 20. 20. 20. 20. 20. 20. 20. 20. 20. 20. 20. 20. 20. 20. 20. 20. 20. 20. 20. 20. 20. 20. 20. 20. 20. 20. 20. 20. 20. 20. 20. 20. 20. 20. 20. 20. 20. 20. 20. 20. 20. 20. 20. 20. 20. 20. 20. 20. 20. 20. 20. 20. 20. 20. 20. 20. 20. 20. 20. 20. 20. 20. 20. 20. 20. 20. 20. 20. 20. 20. 20. 20. 20. 20. 20. 20. 20. 20. 20. 20. 20. 20. 20. 20. 20. 20. 20. 20. 20. 20. 20. 20. 20. 20. 20. 20. 20. 20. 20. 20. 20. 20. 20. 20. 20. 20. 20. 20. 20. 20. 20. 20. 20. 20. 20. 20.
So I recently got into the full Milsim Arma 3. Jesus Christ, is that game difficult. Unfortunately, I had the rather unfortunate circumstance of coming into personal problems with my current Steam group, and then starting to look for other people to play with online, right as the rainy season in South Africa started. The area in which I live is rather very heavily plagued with some rather vicious electrical storms. So I have to unplug everything as soon as it starts. And yes, Arketer, you got squished again.
Not yet. Not quite.
Big cover.
You seem to be a rather interesting sniper medium build there. It's very strange. You
Yes, this is a medium light build called the Gold Rush. It features 2 small weapons and 1 large weapon. And it is beautiful because not only that, it specializes. I'm feeling pretty good right now.
So you've got a dick-mounted railgun and top-mounted rockets.
That's right. The rockets are only particularly deadly at short range, but getting in the face of things is precisely what the Gold Rush does, including it has a large cowcatcher grill on the front for doing massive damage on impact.
So it's a ram, too.
I thought it was a giant snowplow with legs.
Yes,
And
it
a ray
is.
gun for a dick.
That too.
So you're extremely effective at basically all ranges, including up close and personal. But it doesn't seem like you quite have the reflexes and turn speed necessary to handle that close up.
Oh, that's just a matter of skill, which I don't really have quite yet.
Why I typically go with the most heavily armored vehicle that I can find.
Ah. That's
Typically,
great if you can keep anything from getting around you.
Typically, I am a sniper. Do not engage me in long-range combat while I'm in a tank. I will obliterate you. There is, if there is, are you interested in armored warfare, like tanks and things, like modern vehicles and things like that? Are there?
I'm sorry?
Are you interested in tanks, MBTs, and modern armored warfare and stuff?
Yes, or at least I was in the past. However, my first love and primary is all things mech.
Well, until Pantropy gets out, there is an option for a game called Armored Warfare.
Hmm.
It's a free-to-play, free-to-download. It's basically the bigger, better version of World of Tanks. If you know that. It has some interesting options to it. I love the game. It's amazing.
Doesn't it run on the same engine as World of Tanks, just instead of World War II era, it's modern?
No. Completely different publishers, completely different developers. It has its own engine.
Ah.
And it's also completely free to play. It's basically made by the same publishers as Warface.
Ah.
Different developers, same publishers, but I do quite enjoy the game. I have the Chieftain Mach 5, British Chieftain Mach 5 in it. I absolutely adore that tank. It's so cute. It has mostly modern weapons, as you stated, but it should be an interesting distraction while we wait for Pantropy. But this game looks pretty damn good.
There's a good stopgap. I think I just lost a leg to team killing.
Whoopsie.
Bit unfortunate.
So obviously they do have friendly fire here.
They do. Although, at this point at least,
What
they
they're,
have...
missing, what they're missing in terms of PvP combat is a mobile support vehicle like mobile repair.
Agreed.
They're definitely missing a medic. That's the one thing any PvP game needs, is a good medic. Limited capacity for combat and fire, but in exchange for the ability to repair your teammates. Well, there is a difference between multiplayer fun and friendly fire. Trust me, I know. I've been killed more than a few times by friendly fire. Quotation.
Indeed. Well, if one wants to avoid friendly fire, primarily you just have to avoid doing what Pyronic Games did. And sell gold-plated mechs for an absurd amount of actual money.
That's a dick.
Oh, if that weren't enough.
You are having a lot of fun, Arketer. Good kill.
Well, it's hard not to have fun when you're running around as a mech blowing up others.
Well,
Also having good company to talk to.
absolutely, and I do appreciate it. Besides, I think I would do my best work when I'm partially distracted. There was a famous billiards player who was in the habit of tapping his ring on the side of the table as he played, and people asked him why he did that. Did it help him concentrate? And he said that quite the contrary, he found it very hard to line up a shot with some idiot tapping his ring on the table. And yet,
Well,
it seemed to help.
I share the same sentiment. Get out of the way, you twit. Well, I do share the same
Boom!
sentiment of distraction. I really need to... Beautiful.
Well, I didn't get the kill, but I was nearly dead, and I went on that proper... Yes.
Leroy!
7 ways to die with rockets, dynamite, and exploding bolts. Have lots of fun, seeing how high you can get corpses to bounce. Yeah, that is funny. But I prefer the standard deadfall trap. You know, there's this one guy on YouTube that built a deadfall trap that's full of those spinning blade traps. It's just like 60 or 70 blocks down, filled with those new spinning blade traps that they added in the last update. The zombie blender. That's
Nice.
That's always hilarious.
I never... Dead Rising?
Oh well.
It's not Dead Rising, it's 7 Days to Die.
7 Days to Die. It has a zombie blender?
Zombie blender is basically a kind of trap, kind of structure that you can make. It is. There are these structures, these items within the game called blade traps. It's essentially big tire, lawnmower, big thing with sharpened steel blades on it. It's just a spinning blade trap that chops off heads when it's at just the right height, and hacks off legs and it's just the right height and stuff. And one particular player managed to figure out a way to mount them one on top of the other, again and again and again. Dig them into a big hole, and the zombies just fall into the hole through the spinning blade traps, creating a zombie blender.
You know, I really do have to get 7 Days to Die. It does seem everyone is playing that right now. I'm always Johnny come lately.
I would strongly recommend that you wait until the Alpha 17 update is released, because it is going to completely rewrite the entire game. I mean, I've taken a look at some of the things that the devs have released, and it's nothing... Bless you. It is nothing like any previous edition of 7 Days I've ever played. And 7 Days actually has a very, very active modding community as well. So that's going to be something interesting to look at. And a lot of those mods are multiplayer compatible. Lead your targets, Arketer. Shoot where he's gonna be, know where he is. Aim just in front of the cockpit towards your range like that. That was good though. Nice flight.
I think I'm pretty sure I took out at least one person on the way out. Unfortunately, I've gotten the salvage first. You know what? I meant to stop this already. Let's go
That's
ahead
always
and...
been my thought process. If I can get at least one kill with one death, I'm good.
And that's a good baseline. At the very least, you're neutral in that case. Okay?
Yeah. Saki, yes, I agree with you. The mods for 7 days are absolutely amazing. Especially Starvation mod. Oh, God. But my personal favorite is Undead Legacy. But yes, the mods for 7 days are free on the main. There's such things. It's very fun. But yes, Arketer, if you fancy building games or zombie games or anything like that, the basic premise of the entire game is to simply stay alive. And it's a good game to waste a lot of time and spend a lot of time in. And I would, however, strongly recommend that you watch a certain 7 Days to Die Let's Play roleplay by a YouTuber called Twisted Ink. The story, he basically crafted a full story out of just 7 Days to Die during the early days, like it was Alpha 11 or something. And it's better than The Walking Dead. At least after season. Yeah, better than The Walking Dead at least after season 3. That's how good the story is.
Alternatively, it's how bad The Walking Dead got.
Well, after season 3 is pretty damn good. And I strongly recommend it. I will leave links and things to all of the shit that I'm spouting. But yes, YouTuber by the name of Twisted Ink with 4 other players from his Payday days. It follows the storyline of the 4 guys from the Payday gang from Payday 2 finding themselves in the zombie apocalypse. And and they basically continue on the story from there. 7 days. It's awesome.
I must remember to look that up. But
sorry to bore you.
Oh, not boring me at all. If I'm yawning, please note that's never a commentary. I don't yawn to express disappointment, boredom, etc. It usually means that I'm not quite up to speed on my sleep, especially as of late, for reasons very much the case right now. This is why I've started streaming much earlier and will be shutting down about the time I normally would start.
Well, that's good for me. It's 10 o'clock here, so it's significantly better for me because I'm no longer unconscious when you start your damn streams.
Well, every Wednesday from here on out, I'm going to be starting at latest now. For the foreseeable.
I always enjoy your open mics, but I've been unable to get them for very long. It's good to actually talk to people like this every now and then. Clears your head.
I'm glad. Oh, when did when did Dorky leave?
I believe just before Miss Steam joined.
Oh, didn't say goodbye. I feel terrible about that.
Whoopsie. Okay. I'm going to post the link to Pantropy in the Discord. Where do I post it? Do I post it in general? Or suggestions?
Well, suggestions be more like suggestions. You know what? Suggestions be just fine. Or general. I'm not really too picky. It's not a huge deal. I'm just trying to figure out what would be a very good article to go over right about now.
Oh, lordy.
Well, before you take a look at the article, you can take a look at Pantropy and see what kind of fun you can get up to. link in suggestions. There is a link to the official website, and here is a link to the Steam page. There you go. The #1 game that I'm currently looking for, Junkyard Simulator. It's basically my dream job. To work in a junkyard. Simple.
Oh dear, that's way too loud. Junkyard simulators, hey?
Yeah. It's been delayed several times. It's basically just a simulator. In a junkyard. Yeah.
Okay.
Looks kind of like Ark, just with slightly better graphics and the ability to create vehicles.
They do have vehicle Ark now.
I do like the mechs. That's a bit better. I prefer something that provides a first-person viewpoint, because it's... I at least like to pretend I'm getting a good simulation experience.
I know how you feel. It is a very, very good thing. It actually, in some games, they do it so well, you actually feel like you're there. Like Armor, for example. Some of the armored vehicles they have in that game have full interiors. Quite impressive. But yes, this is Pantropy.
I could see someone making a Metal Gear in there.
Somebody actually already has posted to the devs that somebody's actually hacked into the devs' source code, because it's open public source code, and figured out a way to make a replica of Metal Gear Rex.
Nice.
At least according to one post that I found. But apparently it's quite impressive. Since the devs are going to have workshop options available as when the game is actually released and available and open and etc. They're probably going to have advanced options for constructing mechs and constructing machines and whatnot. And it's extremely likely that people are going to copy some mechs. I've even heard one guy on the, on the forums basically stating he's going to try and build a replica of some Supreme Commander units. The Monkey Lord, most likely.
Oh, I love that game. It'd be interesting to see a King Cryptor in there.
King Cryptor would be fun, but frankly, I would prefer the Monkey Lord.
Pantropy, and this is my brother Julian. Yeah, hi, I'm Julian.
As much as Pyrona Games MechWarrior Online hurt me personally,
2 years ago, while
I still have a certain love for the MechWarrior universe and proper mechs that are just completely impractical in their sheer massiveness.
Oh, also, I just remembered, there is a link to the website for Satisfactory as well. And here is the link to the Steam page for Satisfactory as well. It's basically a pimped out version of Factorio. It's actually quite easy to recognize. And it has a very catchy theme song. Sorry, Saki, what language is what written in?
I can't tell if that's a reference to Samuel L. Jackson in Pulp Fiction or not.
Hey, since you're all clearly watching the stream in some capacity, what do you think of the new setup?
I like it.
Excellent! It's
For once, it's actually stable. You're not lagging behind that much.
Oh!
Doesn't have to render so much.
At least
I
not
have
for
to
me.
agree.
I'm sorry,
It's
what?
not that bad.
Not that bad. Okay, thank you. That's sort
I'm
of...
still getting a little bit of lag in the stream, but that's probably my internet connection. But all things considered, I actually quite like this setup. It's nice.
It's because it has to render a lot less, and that's why it's probably streaming a lot better.
That reminds me, Arketer, are those mutant spider cows under control yet?
Yes, yes they are.
What are you gonna do? Milk them for silk?
I wouldn't even touch that with a 10-foot pole.
I believe that's already being done somewhere, actually. But wasn't it goats? Excuse me.
Actually, spider silk is an extremely strong material. If they can figure out a way to replicate its material structure, we can basically have super strong material that we can use.
They've actually made a cloak out of spider silk.
That would be interesting.
Oh no, they've actually made one. Oh.
You see, the theme song is really catchy, isn't it?
It is. And this is indeed, clearly.
Whoa, what is that?
The end game product for Factorio. You're basically building some kind of enormous super machine to accomplish a task. What exactly you're going to do has not yet been revealed, because after all, they're still working on the story. But
No,
yeah, it's full multiplayer. It's designed for full multiplayer or single, just like Factorio.
It was looking a bit like, might be a space elevator.
Either a space elevator to a terraformer, maybe,
Possibly.
or some kind of resource gate.
Looks similar to the space elevator in Halo.
Well, let's hope it's not a Halo, because that would be. But yeah, these are the basic capacity of the games that I. And yeah, they also have their own YouTube channel, same as the Pantropy devs. I can link those in the chat if you would like. But all things considered, they might be stealing your thunder.
Well, I'm not sure if we need to go into any greater depth than this for now. If, say, oh, Numbskull, greetings! This is something I will be watching in the future. I have chipped in a bit hastily on early access previously. And as of latest, I think it's gone pretty well. But I've also been burned once before.
Yeah, so have I.
So before I get terribly excited about these games, I will want them to be out properly. Or at least have a very clear date for it.
At the very least in beta or something.
Yes.
I know how you feel. Space Engineers is the game that I've poured in about almost 1,900 hours. And it appears as though the devs are appearing to begin the process of abandoning it for Space Engineers 2. Apparently the engine that they originally used is just not powerful enough, or so finish what they started, at least try to finish what they started, and then go to something new.
Couldn't they just update the engine?
No, the engine was used in 2014. The engine is so far out of date, its original manufacturers are no longer updating it or modifying it or upgrading it. And the license for its modification has also expired. But
I would say that then it's about time for them to move on anyway. That's nothing to be too upset about. After all, especially it has been going on since, did you say 2014?
Yeah, 2014 was the first time I saw Space Engineers actually had some content in it.
Ah, see,
And
so
since then it has completely evolved. There is a new game that runs by the same developers, Keen Software House, called Medieval Engineers.
I've heard of it.
Yeah, it's basically the same concept, but with stones and catapults. And people have built like incredible creations. Okay, enough of that. I'm fairly certain there'll be time for that in the next stream or something.
But yeah, Volt, I put the Golden Orb Spider Silk Cloak in general.
Awesome. I need to look at that.
I've seen this.
Oh, you've seen this article already.
Huh?
Tennessee man loses leg after his son ran him over with a lawnmower when he attacked him with a chainsaw.
Wait, what?
This doesn't help you Americans, I'm sorry.
Douglas Ferguson, 76, was charged with attempted second-degree murder and violating probation. A chainsaw-wielding Tennessee father had to have his leg amputated after his son ran him over with a lawnmower, police said. Officers were called to a home in Bristol, Tennessee on June 28th and found Douglas Ferguson, 76, bleeding from his head and leg, according to a press release from the Sullivan County Sheriff's Office. Preliminary investigation indicated that he tried to attack his son with a running chainsaw while his son mowed the yard. His son, who is not identified, ran over his father with the lawnmower as a way to defend himself, the press release stated. And I am not clicking that relevant article, which is absurd, but will have me frothing mad.
One thing to ask.
Yes?
Why a lawnmower?
Yes, there are so many questions here. If you're being attacked with a chainsaw, someone's coming after you with a chainsaw, how would you defend yourselves?
Pull out a gun?
That would be the preferred go-to method. For some reason, I guess that was an option. I suspect, given the mention of a probation violation, that quite possibly neither of them could legally obtain one.
Fair point.
A taser that's been bolted up to make them unconscious.
An old man with a chainsaw, no less. How fast can he really swing that? Those things aren't, those
It all
aren't
depends
light.
on the context of the situation, really.
Hmm.
It's all context. There's so many variables to consider. It's very difficult to actually come up with an honest answer.
In a lawnmower, I expect you have a hard time outrunning a man with a chainsaw, much less turning it around and chasing him down with it. And yet, a preliminary investigation indicated they tried to attack him with a running chainsaw while his son mowed the yard. His son, who was not identified, ran over his father with a lawnmower as a way to defend himself, the press release stated. Detectives said the father and son had an ongoing feud. Ferguson was charged with attempted second-degree murder and violating probation. It's unclear whether he has a lawyer.
Whoopsie.
The Bristol Herald Courier reported that a warrant for Ferguson could not be served until Tuesday because of the severity of his injuries. Tennessee man. It's not quite the same as Florida man. Florida man just rules better. I hope they survive the hurricane.
I still love the song. Florida Man.
Oy vey.
I've actually been getting lucky with these past few hurricanes. South Carolina hasn't been getting much else but a couple storms.
I'm hoping. I don't really care very much about the west coast of the U.S. My eyes are very firmly planted on the east coast with a bag of popcorn and some champagne on standby.
Saki the Real has
Waiting
said to
for
me...
the Koreas to, or for North Korea to attack.
Well, that should be lower odds than ever. Saki the Real sent a YouTube video that could hypothetically be a palate cleanser. I'm curious. It seems relevant at the very least. But please, first, go ahead, Steam.
A lot of Americans think, why does people around the world think that Americans and I think that and it's like, because of this, we see stuff like this and we go, how that happens?
Well, my dear, the rest of the world has a very poor opinion of you right now, considering your
I know,
continuously
talking about-
unfolding Orwellian nightmare.
talking about stereotypes, so it's not, stereotypes aren't always true.
Well, yes, they're not always true, but also not always true for everyone, so you can't really harp upon American stereotypes and then be surprised when someone brings up some British ones. Besides, America has some bragging rights right now. I mean, it seems to be the only civilized country not quite doing all it possibly could to skyrocket towards an authoritarian dystopia, despite supposedly having the reincarnation of Hitler in the office.
It is very, very quickly descending to the point where that kind of authoritarianism is eventually inevitable, followed
well.
very closely by a civil war.
Yes,
Americans
so we hope.
don't like freedom.
The whole planet is
I hate
stark
to
raving
do this to
bonkers.
y'all, but I've got to go take my little sister to the park. So it's been fun. I shall see you next stream.
Yes, likely. I will be live this Saturday, possibly with Opal as my guest. They haven't really decided. Apparently they're unsure. Maybe they don't trust me, afraid that I might do something unsavory in the hangout call previous. I don't know.
Well,
But that hasn't been confirmed yet. This Saturday, Opal, hopefully. Meanwhile, good luck, Godspeed, and good on you for being a proper big bro.
I have,
Indeed.
Later.
okay.
Cheers.
I have heard that Opal has been on a few live streams where they just made fun of her.
Yes.
That makes sense.
Well, if you know Opal, you might want to reassure her that's not going to be on the agenda. In fact, I'm going to do my best to make them feel welcome, because I know she gets mocked and muted and booted from various live streams. That won't be happening here. Well, there may be some mocking, but it's going to be good-natured, and I'm determined to have nothing to do with her voice whatsoever.
Okay, I'll take your word for it.
Getting booed off streams, that actually kind of pisses me off because it's like, it's just like, dude, there's being banterish and then there's just being a cunt.
Yeah, I've seen some examples of that. Well, if you all have any ins with Opal, you might want to contact her and reassure her that it'll just be a good awkward time. Anyhow, I really want to see what it is that Saki the Real sent us. Watch out, Grandma, lawnmower death.
How very strange. Some people tell me that I would make a pretty good voice actor. I tell them they're lying. Check out the dancing grandma.
Those hips aren't gone yet. Oh, cheers, numbskull.
Ah, bugger it. Six people watching, only 3 likes. Turn the fuck on, people. And the old girl still got some pep in it.
Indeed. I'm kind of wondering what the story behind this is.
Must have just heard a song she really liked.
I could dance all fucking day.
I like her.
It gives you a little bit of hope, doesn't it? It's not all bleak and miserable.
No. That probably would have been a good palate cleanser, but see, this previous article was about, lawnmowers for murdering. I thought that this might have been immediately relevant. Okay. Now let's see, if anyone is on the Discord server and is looking through Angry Frumman's Rage pages, please feel free to suggest something you would like read or discussed live.
Jesus Christ, Angry Furman.
Yeah, he seems to have a lot of time on his hands. Is he in the chat today?
It would seem not. Oh, YT drop. That's a very good question, Saki the Real. Does anyone here know anything about the YT drop? I understand that for a period of time, YouTube was down worldwide. I managed to miss it entirely. Fortunately, it seems to be back up in time. Well, clearly.
Yeah, that... I don't know, I used YouTube all night. It didn't happen to me.
Perhaps they exaggerated that whole YouTube down worldwide. Certainly, it would be the first time Americans have seen something go down in the US and assumed it's down across the world!
Well, that's because Americans
actually...
think their country is the world.
It's fair. This is a fair criticism.
I heard that English people have that problem too, and I was going like, but I was using YouTube all night, and it never once went down for me.
Okay, so it was down worldwide, and Saki isn't American, so we can perhaps better take his word for it. Down for about 2 hours.
Apparently, I wasn't using it when it was down.
When was it? When was it in 2 hours? Like shit. Words.
They'll come to you.
Exactly, like... About 2 AM out time Steam.
So not online, so not, conscious during that time generally.
Just during that time. I was using YouTube during that time.
Weird. Must be some cases, not others.
I don't know. But...
God damn it, YouTube, go to 144. Thank you. Oh god, celebrity beauty things? Seriously? Do you realize these people are trying to smear bird shit and bee stings on their faces? I understand the concept of looking interesting for the cameras because it's kind of your job to look good. But some of the shit these people do is just, oh my god.
Yes, things like having horse placenta put on your face, hemorrhoid cream under your eyes, and your own blood injected into your face, which we've heard of before. I discussed that with Mrs. Midnight. Vampire facials, they call them. Although if it's your own blood, that doesn't make a great deal of sense. And personally, I highly doubt it is their own blood in most cases.
I can actually see how they would think it would. Fresh blood injected into a rather unusual part of the face, which usually drains from blood cells first, creates a temporary injection of fresh cells into the system, and they recycle themselves. I can see how it might work, but at the same time, I can also see how... On one hand, I can see, yeah, okay, that's... okay. But on the other hand, facepalm. Or as Dr. Rendemacam would say, head disc.
Yes, head desk, facepalm, at least. Besides...
my face cream. Thank you very much.
Your skin has blood in it already, though. Just... if someone's face didn't have any blood in it to begin with, then they've got bigger problems than ye old age.
As far as I can tell, it has to do something with maybe opening the pores and loosening up blood vessels in the face and puffing it up again.
Yeah, I smell an awful lot of rubbish on that one.
It's fucking weird what these people will do to themselves. Instead of trying to look young, why not just, die and be reborn or something?
Blood poisoning?
Mortality already.
Wouldn't that cause blood poisoning, technically?
Not with your own blood, no.
Although one reason they caught the news is because Mexico facility wasn't really cleaning the machines all.
I wonder how many people... it's extremely ironic. I wonder how many people will try to kill themselves in the pursuit of immortality.
I suspect that it's, we haven't even begun to see exactly what happens when that's within reach. Ah, so Wolfie, greetings. I think there might be a spot remaining in Discord if you want to pop on, but no obligation. Seems like a rather stupid technique since the blood will be reabsorbed with power. Yes, there's a lot. Oh, Mad Metal Man, greetings! It's been a long time since I've seen you on a stream as well. You know, I have to say though, after the whole vampire facial, that does seem a bit more sensible than, say, horse placenta on your face.
Horse placenta sounds like downright fucking disgusting.
Yes.
Placenta.
Yeah, horse placenta. Apparently, they still have some form of stem cell to them. And people are dumb enough to think that stem cell equals youth. It doesn't. Placentas and other such things still have a small modicum of stem cells in them to repair damage during birth and other things. So people are dumb enough to believe that, at least as far as this story is concerned, that might be the case, that they believe that there are still stem cells there that can make them look younger and, you know, replace dead blood cells or whatever. But that is the... What the hell, man?
What is wrong with people? Why can't they just be okay with dying? And
Well, because they have mansions and social media and cameras and
They're at the top of their game, you know, and they just don't want to give up that spot at the top of the heap. And sympathies, Mad Metal Man. Hey, but look on the bright side, at least you're not shadow banned.
Thank God for that.
I'm a bit bitter about that. It was a very recent affair. Oh, I've been shadow banned, you see.
Shadow banned? Oh shit.
Yes. I'm not really sure why, because my Twitter feed is mild. Very, very mild. There are only two things I can think of. One, I did some retweeting about the NPCs. You know, some of the good NPC memes, and certainly they were nervous as hell about that for some reason. And secondly, I reported an ISIS video where they were just executing people and babbling about it. But seems like they'd be shooting the messenger to shadow ban me for that.
so is it, like, can you still? Do you mean you're suspended, or do you mean like you just can't?
Oh, properly shadow banned. Let me explain how shadow banning works. The real shadow banning. Oh, and welcome, Dork Oracle.
There's different, like, people giving me different versions of shadow ban, and I'm just like, okay, just what type are you talking about?
Twitter has been bitching quite tremendously about how they don't really shadow ban. They just, you know, discreetly ensure that certain people never have their twits seen by anyone who isn't already following them. That's my case now. I have a search ban, a thread ban, and some other ban. It's on my Twitter page.
Shadow ban is basically the concept of having your conversations seen by everyone except people you don't know.
I know what shadow ban is. It's just people have been giving me different iterations of shadow ban, and I'm like, okay, which one are you talking about? That's basically what I mean.
Well, I seem to have all of them but the QFD shadow ban. But they seem to have stopped the QFD shadow banning, which was on a massive scale because, well, they were trying to convince the government that they weren't doing that. No, the proper shadow ban means that if someone was to say, go to Twitter right now and search for @Director Arketer, I would not come up even then. You might find some of my tweets in which I'm being referenced by someone else, but you won't find me unless it's been reversed, and if that is the case, please do let me know. I've run it past the shadow ban tester and confirmed it myself with incognito.
I've been technically shadow banned to your version shadow banned. But I don't really.
I've been shadow banned like fuck because I don't even have a social media account.
Hmm.
Well, like, I don't really care too much because if I want people following me, I could just link them it. And the thing is if people really want to see my stuff, they could just my thing. Still find me and stuff as long as I'm not suspended off Twitter. I don't really care.
I only have a Facebook account, and my mother uses it. She uses it to play slots and bingo and other such Facebook-based browser games.
Old lady stuff.
No, she's only like in her 50s now. Yeah.
Hmm.
Unfortunately, retirement prospects are
I
not quite.
I
That's right.
understand shadow banning is very important and all. I understand that shadow banning is really bad for someone's career and all. Personally, for me, I'm just like, oh, well, I'm shadow banned. Okay, well,
It is a very direct form of, very indirect form of censorship.
oh yeah,
Which
it definitely is.
Oh, it
is
is. Well, when they are applying it correctly, and there's a method by which they could be considered to do it correctly, they usually use it to, and this is also kind of a suspicious way to use it as well.
oh, for crying out loud! That's why my connection is bad.
Ah,
This fucking thing is downloading things. Fuck you, Discord.
shadow bans often happen automatically whenever, say, you upload a new picture that the algorithm just assumes is pornographic or worse. It will shadow ban your account immediately, so as few people see the picture as possible, and then Twitter will get around to reviewing whether or not it's legitimate sometime around when hell freezes over.
Yeah.
Well,
I think I'm shadow banned because of my my fan art, the fan art Samaj made for me that I've censored with other fan art.
Are you shadow banned? Have you run it on the test?
Yeah, I've run it on the test. I'm technically shadow banned. I'm just not the last one.
I see Twitter's basically given up on that whole pretending not to shadow ban. They decided to go full tilt with it, after all.
Kind of.
they're losing the argument. They're losing the war. You can see straight through their lies, and they're just trying their absolute best. They don't even care about hiding it anymore. They're just fuck this.
Most kind Mad Metal Man. While we are here and paying attention, this Saturday I will hopefully have Opal on as my guest. This Saturday after that, perhaps you. Does that appeal? Ideally on camera, if that's not too much to ask. I really want to get the whole interview segment running a bit better. Meanwhile, thank you for any support you give to the humble Twitter account. I should perhaps create another account just in case. But if they ban or suspend my account, hypothetically they should give some sort of reason for it. God knows there isn't one. The most scandalous thing I've done there was get blocked by Razor Fist and the Kingpin.
You got blocked by Razor Fist?
Oh yes. I got blocked by Razor Fist because he blocked someone else, and I said that I was disappointed that he blocked that person. So apparently he unblocked that person and then blocked me.
That's a bit of a bitch move.
Yeah.
Okay.
Speaking of Razor Fist, he seems to be doing well these days. I made a comment on one of his videos. I think it was called Why We Need the Wall. And I made a very excellent point, and he made an even better point. My point was like 20 sentences long, and his point was about 5 words, and yeah. But yes, Saki, you are absolutely correct. I do in fact have my tinfoil hat on. Demand for stem cells, abortions encouraged. Is there a link? I do in fact have my tinfoil hat.
I wouldn't be necessary. I could do a Sunday easy, but I'm working till 9 p.m. on Saturdays. If you want, I could Saturday night, but late. So 4 p.m. CST is right out then, huh? Saturday night. You know, I don't normally have a stream on Sundays, but for you, Mad Metal Man, I could make an exception. Not to make a point of tweeting out in advance. No one who's expecting my stream at the usual time will be necessarily paying attention then.
I normally, whenever your thing just pops up on my notifications, I'm like, oh, Arketer's streaming. Boom.
Ah, great. I'm glad that some notifications are still going out. Let's see. Yes, good call. Not this Sunday, though, because I'm going to be guesting on Vincent Veritas and Co.'s stream, and that's going to be at a very awkward time for me, thus suggesting that the rest of what would be my Sunday might be tight schedule-wise.
The last time I saw your live streaming channel, it only had like 120 subscribers.
What is that now?
He's doing good,
161.
isn't
Oh, not bad, not bad. It seems like I hit it with 100 not too long ago. It should be a lot higher, I would think. The canned content channel is up to 800 plus, but no one there seems to bother coming here, even with references. It would probably be going a lot better if I was on schedule with my canned content releases, which I have things in the works, but nothing ready yet.
My YouTube channel is now up to 5 subscribers. 5 whole subscribers! And I know 4 of them. My Minds channel, however, is up to 45 subscribers, and I haven't posted any content there for the last, like, month and a half. So obviously I'm doing something right. But what I'm planning to do is, since EA Games came up with their absolutely pile of shit Command & Conquer Rivals, what I plan to do is, as soon as my terminal case of the lazies wears off, I'm going to play basically a skirmish campaign for Command & Conquer General 0 Hour to show a new generation what strategy games are supposed to be. I'm going to take a selection of skirmish maps and things, play them in a full sort of campaign thing with them, and just record those and upload those, and then I'll go on to the mods. And there are a lot of mods. A lot of beautiful mods. That game is 14 years old. And it still has a viable player base.
That's impressive. And yes, Saturday after next to Mad Metal Man. If you can make your schedule fit that, that's great. If not, then, you know, for you, I can make it happen Sunday, but still not this Sunday, but next Sunday. And, you know, I never really played that much C&C when it came out. I don't know why. Somehow I wound up playing, when it came real-time strategy, some of the more awkward titles, like, oh dear, what was it called? Togrins, Imperium, Rebels.
Well,
Never
Command,
mind.
I have the first decade. I got it about like 3-4 years ago, or something. I got it when I was still in technical school. I walked into a PC shop one day and I found the first decade just sitting there on the shelf. And I went back to my childhood, just looking at all of the Command & Conquer that was splayed out in front of me. It was awesome. And then I went back to 0 Hour, Renegade, all of the good stuff. And it wasn't until years later I actually managed to find the modding community for Command & Conquer 0 Hour. And oh my god, have they added in so much. There's mods that add in new factions, like Russian Federation, gives upgrades to the People's Republic of China, adds in like hundreds of new tanks. There's total conversion mods that give it like modern warfare options, like real life vehicles and tanks and ranges and physics, and all sorts of incredible things. And that's just for Command & Conquer General 0 Hour. That's not including, if you are ever going to play a mod for a Command & Conquer game, you need to go to hello. You need to go to Command and Conquer 3, Tiberian Wars. You need to go for the Forgotten.
Noted. Greetings, Sir Wolfie. Apparently it's very busy where you're at. Apparently placenta, human or animal, is very beneficial for stimulating collagen in the skin. The idea of having bloody afterbirth on me made me want to retch. Well, I'm presently listening to the best mods for CNC original. And looking at a Vice article where they're discussing some of the more insane things that celebrities have done to stave off the pretty good looks Reaper. Presently, it's placenta. It's good enough for Kim Kardashian, Harry Styles, and Victoria Beckham. Why, it's good enough for her accordingly. Because even Madonna has tried it, although she used placenta-based creams. But this person wanted to get hold of the raw material directly. You know, if they're going to do it, they wanted to do it right. Assuming that for some reason the placenta-based cream wouldn't be doing it right, as opposed to finding animal medical waste and just slapping that on your face.
You do know there are some mothers who still eat the placenta when they give birth.
Yes. That's horrific.
You know, all things considered, I never understood that. Eating the placenta if you give birth. Doesn't that actually classify as cannibalism of some sort?
It does.
Negative, because all it is a sack of waste.
It's a sack of waste, yes, but it's also human tissue and blood.
Of human organ.
It's still classified as human because there are still human blood cells, human skin cells, human flesh cells. So technically, it is cannibalism. You can say it isn't because it is a form of waste, but then there is the whole human cell aspect to it, and also especially where it came from. So all things considered,
Now, if anyone's ever had a bloody nose and just threw their head back, you've probably imbibed human blood before, and same thing if you ever bitten your tongue, so on and so forth. But very few people, under normal circumstances, end up ingesting the blood and or tissue of another human being, unless, of course, you're eating a placenta.
I actually quite like the taste of my own blood.
Like it tastes metallic to me.
It's because of the iron in your blood.
Yeah, that's it.
It's the smell is copper. If you have large quantities of blood in a enclosed area, fresh blood, the air smells like burnt copper.
Well, I have had the good fortune of not being in any places that are full of human blood in a closed-in area. Yet, anyway. Don't want to jinx it.
I actually have been in a place like that where there's lots and lots of copper. You actually have to wear a mask with an air freshener in it because copper, freshly burned copper smells a lot like human blood. So you have a natural reaction to it. I was in a factory once taking a little tour while trying to figure out what I was going to do with my life, which never happened. But apparently you have to wear a mask with a form of air freshener inside it. Otherwise you'll have a reaction to the smell of the copper because it smells so much like human blood.
That's why it smells metallic too, I guess.
Yeah. Yes, you're absolutely
Thing.
People are indeed food, provided you're a bear.
I mean, I do know that human meat tastes like pork.
Human meat is also the most poisonous, and I'm going to give you the shakes.
Yeah.
Only if you
long
grind
pork,
it.
I believe, is used to be called by the occasional cannibalistic sailor and so on. That the human being should taste most like pork is interesting. Man, by the way, the Discord link is in the chat. If anyone isn't part of the Discord server, please feel free to join.
But yeah, Kuru, you only get Kuru if you eat the brain.
Or spinal fluids, for that matter. Basically, try to stay away from the brain and spinal fluids, and you're just, a horrible abomination as opposed to a shaky, horrible abomination.
I mean, technically, we cannibalize ourselves all the time.
Ah, oh, very good, Mad
You
Man.
get to bite your lip, or...
I'm not watching that particular channel's text. Anyhow, say, have any of you been cheated on?
Why?
I'm gonna be exaggerating and say no.
Because I think I've seen a pretty metal way to avenge oneself. Iowa City woman charged after detonating plastic explosives in cheating husband's anus.
I wish you could see the expression on my face right now. It's just like,
I have so many questions I want this article answer. A 43-year-old Iowa City woman has been charged with homicide after a brutal crime involving a 49-year-old husband who she had recently discovered had been having an affair with a much younger woman. The wife, who is being held in custody, is believed to have sourced plastic explosives through an online dark web retailer that only accepts payment with cryptocurrency. According to investigators, she made the purchase after discovering her husband was cheating. Quote, the woman was enraged to find out her husband had been having an affair for several years with a 24-year-old he'd met through an online sugar daddy dating website. The wife was devastated and decided to get her revenge. She would seek a very unusual method. A search of her computer reveals she purchased a small quantity of plastic explosives from a site on the dark web. We believe she drugged her husband with sleeping pills to sedate him so she could put her plan into action. It is alleged the woman inserted the plastic explosives into the anus of her sleeping husband before detonating them remotely. Investigators found a webcam in the debris which they believe she used to watch her husband explode. Husband died instantly in the explosion, which was loud enough that a neighbor in the nearby house called 911, leading investigators to the gory scene. The woman's name is being suppressed until the man's next of kin have been contacted.
okay, I can understand the concept of trying to get revenge after being cheated on, but holy crap. Literally.
Hilarious.
Sounds like she took a page from my book.
She definitely didn't take a page from mine, I can tell you that much.
Where that wasn't me. I don't use explosives.
No, you use steam-powered stuff, don't you?
Torture. I torture, then kill.
To be fair, strictly speaking, he probably didn't feel anything.
She should have just shoved a glass rod up his penis and broke it.
Yeah, very wrong, but explosions. I have to give her credit for that. This was seriously metal.
All things taken into consideration, he can actually use the phrase "mind blown" from his ass. It's the first for everything, I suppose.
She could have made an excuse that he had mubic dysentery.
Saki phrased it better. The guy got to heaven, was asked, what was the last thing that went through your mind? To which he can now reply, my ass. That joke, I believe, came from Ahmed the Dead Terrorist, actually, but still, it's a quality one worth repeating.
You are absolutely correct, sir. Did you see...
Oh, we've inspired Metal Men to write a song. Or rather, she has. We just, joked about it. Remember, if you do follow through on that Mad Metal Man, you've got to share a link to it.
Speaking of Ahmed the Dead Terrorist, did you see the one with him in Israel?
No, I haven't.
You should. It's hilarious. Ahmed the Dead Terrorist in Israel. Just from that, the funny.
Sounds amazing.
And also, it's Jeff Dunham's World Tour, his All Over the Map tour. Jeff, Walter in Saudi Arabia.
Up here, I remember now. Yeah, augmented her.
What about Jeff? Another left turn.
Okay.
Poor Jeff. Dunham.com.
So, this is an article from Ron Saki the Real, detailing, in a very, very recent sense, YouTube is down, please don't call the police, by Johnny Liu 18 hours ago. YouTube is down, and the internet doesn't know what to do!
Oh no!
The video platform was inaccessible on Tuesday night, either showing a server error, a blank page, or broken images when people tried to load the website. The YouTube app also showed the same problems. See also, YouTube accounts for 47% of music streaming, study claims. YouTube wrote in a tweet that it was quote-unquote working on resolving the issues and apologized for any inconvenience that it may have caused. Thanks to your reports about YouTube, YouTube TV, and YouTube Music Access issues, we are working on resolving this and will let you know once fixed. We apologize for any inconvenience this may cause and will keep you updated. Team YouTube.
Gosh, Arketer. That is extremely offensive to decent human beings. You need to speak Californian when you do the YouTube. Thanks for your...
Actually, he sounds like he's from Kentucky when he does that accent.
Yeah, well, it's very offensive to Kentucky people because this is fucking YouTube. They're in California.
I live in Kentucky.
Yeah, well, I know. You're supposed to do it like this. Thanks for your reports about YouTube, YouTube TV and YouTube Music Access issues. We're working on resolving this and we'll let you know once fixed. We apologize for any inconvenience this may have caused and we'll keep you updated. That's how you're supposed to do it.
You sound gay.
That's because I was using my gay voice. I can only do Californian in a gay tone.
Yes, heterosexual Californian is an advanced class. Predictably, when things go down, the internet freaks out! Philadelphia police, jokingly or not, asked that people not call emergency services because of the outage. Yes, your at YouTube is down to, no, please don't call 911. We can't fix it. Other YouTubers wondered what on earth was going on too. Mr. Beast asking, it would be like hilarious if YouTube never came back up and I just wasted like the last 7 years of my life. Mr.
What the fuck?
Oh, is that LA Beast? Mr. Beast? I'll have to look into that. I remember when he used to do all those eating challenges. It was utterly inane, but he was such a charismatic fellow. Go told him not working, and now I just don't know how to watch 5 hours of piano cat playing YMCA. Well done. YouTube is down. Now what do I do? Goes outside and sees the burning fibre of the world we live in.
Sit and wait
Never
and have
mind.
patience.
Sorry?
Sit and wait and have patience.
Meh. Well, who has time for that?
Patience is like sanity. It's for the weak.
I was using YouTube around that time. Down for me. Had that tab open.
I just tell him I'm not a doctor like Director Arketer. And silence.
I'd go.
It didn't necessarily come through clear, I'm afraid. What was it again?
Conversation derailed. Somebody called the conductor. He's falling asleep again.
Is it like time to stop saying guys at work? Hey guys! Morning, guys. That's why I called out my colleagues most mornings as I wandered to my desk at my old job until one day a colleague who had recently joined my team visibly winced at the greeting. She cheerily responded with, "Morning, everyone," before shooting me a wry smile. It was a subtle but undeniable way of calling out my word choice. There were 5 women in the mixed gender group I was addressing, so why did I and so many of us use guys to address the mixed gender group? And is it time to drop it from our vocabulary at work?
Okay, this is ridiculous. I do believe it was either Dave Cullen from Computing Forever or Sargon. Maybe it was the Quartering that did this article. Guys has always been gender neutral. It's always been gender neutral, and you're pointing this out now. Why?
Because it makes them look woke. The term guys found its way into the Australian lexicon around the 1970s via American television and radio programs. Alison Moore, chief editor of the Macquarie Dictionary, explains that it's mostly used as a colloquialism by the younger generations to refer to both men and women. But technically it refers mostly to men, ergo it's evil. Ms. Moore says it wasn't born out of a patriarchal context, and like other terms now widely recognized as exclusionary or sexist, such as chairman or mankind.
Feminist bitch.
Just ask Miss Steve. She don't mind being called a guy. She has a bigger penis than all 3 of us put together.
A little bit of a pet peeve I have. I've been watching Series of Unfortunate Events, the Netflix edition. Yes, it's very, very loyal. They've made was some of the little tiny changes actually majorly change the characters drastically, and it's like, oh great. But the one thing I really hate is they push in this SJW nonsense, and it's so jarring when they do it. I've noticed that Violet, she literally goes, like, someone says humankind, and she goes, people kind.
This is because of the whole propaganda thing. These idiots have had all of this identitarian bullshit slammed into their heads so much. The only thing they have the capacity to talk about is the propaganda that they were taught. It's why they're fucking up games. It's why they're fucking up comics. It's why they're fucking up absolutely everything they touch, because they can't physically or mentally or emotionally or anything put their politics aside and focus on the task at hand.
Well, everything is political.
Not only that, it's these snowflakes that think they're 100 and some odd genders, and they need to feel special somehow, so they have to identify as something.
Something comes around. Yeah, no, but the thing is what annoys me is because they made Violet say that, character analysis just completely falls apart. Because Violet would never say that because she's not obsessed with grammar. Klaus is. Klaus is obsessed with grammar. He wouldn't be like standing there going, "Oh yeah, people kind." No, he would be like humankind, because he is so obsessed with grammar. He would correct anyone, and that was a comedic thing in the books.
So yeah, the classic grammar
humankind.
nuts.
Yeah, changing that so that Violet says humankind and Klaus doesn't mind that completely makes their character dynamic fall apart. Would never do that.
Yeah. It's the continuous insertion of politics with this smug, self-righteous attitude, and it is sickening.
But basically, every time they make the Baudelaire children do something SJW, breaks apart their entire characters, because in the books, anything they do SJW is completely contradictory to what the books do. They could have done it in a way where it's like Klaus was sympathetic to the transgender person, the neither man nor woman person in the books, sort of thing. It could be sympathetic to him because that's actually what happened in the books. Do it, which makes no sense because Violet is kind of one of those people that's a bit retarded when it comes to emotions. You know, stuff like that. But no, they make Violet do that, so that completely. So for some reason now she's empathetic, but she can't be empathetic at the same time. That makes no sense. Pushing this SJW nonsense on them, it really makes everything fall apart. And as soon as Violet said people kind, I'm like, yep, they fucked up the entire character analysis of the Baudelaire children. Well done. You fucked up with one line. Okay, I know it sounds like I'm overdoing it and all that stuff. But
Well, I
really
get the impression of a series of important. Oops.
Have you ever been in an instance?
Yeah. No, like if you read the books and you love the books and then you go and watch the series, you're going to be like, wait, what? The children would never fucking do that. What the fuck?
The neither man nor woman person. Can we call those people the Rileys? Hey, team, what was the name of this neither man nor woman person?
It didn't have a name. He was in the books. He was so hideous that, but the person was so hideous you couldn't tell if it was another man or woman, and it was impolite to ask. That was the whole point of the books. In the not the movie, the series, they just made him a non-binary person.
Oh yes, the new Doctor Who was ruined by the constant weak white man thing they kept portraying. Yes, well, actually, I was kind of burnt out on the new Who long before that point, but it doesn't seem like they've ever really nosed up properly. I don't...
No, so I would have been burnt out a long time. I would have been rude a long time ago. I'd have been like, so what are you?
Doctor Who?
Doctor What now? Soon, Doctor What? That said, time is...
Doctor Y.
On the subject of Doctor Who, just a strange aside here, in case you're looking for something entertaining to watch. There's a guy that does a series on YouTube called Sci-Fi Civilizations Too Stupid to Exist. He did an episode on the Daleks. It's actually quite funny. He makes some very interesting points.
You know, I've seen a lot of those videos by that gent. Yes.
The Doctor was supposed to die with David Tennant. David Tennant was supposed to die. He was supposed to be the last Doctor because the script said so, and then they changed the script so they could carry on and push their stupid SJW agenda. They ruined the entire lore of Doctor Who, and it all fell apart after they made Doctor Who live with Matt Smith. And I don't care what people say about Matt Smith. Matt Smith wasn't supposed to be there because the Doctor being like, the Doctor is dying. Yeah, he should have died. The script said he should have died. The script was perfect, and they scrapped the script for something so they can make it more SJW and SJ friendly and all this shit. They ruined Doctor Who.
Well, I don't know. I think eventually they're going to find that there's no demand for another Doctor Who.
At this point,
please
continue.
Sorry, I'm just saying the woman to Sarah Jane. Okay, the woman who played Sarah Jane, she would have been considered the human Doctor sort of thing. She had her own spin-off series. She was really important in the whole universe. She was a strong, independent woman that fucking was as good as the fucking Doctor. She had her own spin-off series, for fuck's sake. She and people go, oh, we're gonna push her under the bridge for a woman Doctor, and it's like that is a massive insult to everything Sarah Jane has done through her entire life. It's a massive insult to her grave, her fucking children. It's just a massive insult because they just pretend she never existed.
Well, they're pushing an agenda. They have a thing to do. They have a message to carry across. The strong, independent whammies. They have the feminists and the patriarchy. They have to, fuck everything up. At this point, it's not a matter of determining what have they fucked up or what will they fucked up. Everything is fucked. It's no longer a possibility anymore.
Well, I wouldn't say that's true.
Everything.
There have been pushbacks. not everything has been destroyed irreparably. I think comedy will ultimately bounce back because 9 times out of 10 when they infiltrate a new field, and again, we're seeing a bit of a trend here. First it was video games. Okay, well, now video games have kind of gotten sick of them. They moved on to comics. Well, comics is getting pretty sick of them. You're seeing some pushback now with Move the Needle and Comics Gate. Oh no! I think that's going to remain the case going into things like, say, Comedy Gate. People are not going to watch that many comedies that are just hour and a half plus of miserable whinging about what a horrible life you have.
Sarkeesian attempted to gain relevancy again by chiming in on Comicsgate.
Of course.
And of course...
Not just her, mind you. Quinn is also trying to claim relevancy somehow.
That tangent is just I'm still very salty about what they did, and it's been years now.
It's quite alright. It's quite alright, it is well deserved.
Well, I can sympathize. I've kind of stopped caring about any media content quite that much. I've been burned too many times to get that invested again.
I just don't bother with television anymore. I watch YouTube now. Dr. Random McCam and the Honey Badger Radio is raging are most watched things that I have. I have them on in the background while I play games. It's a lot of fun to hear Mike.
Oh, poor Salty Steam. Hey, that could be your new name, says Socky the Real. On that note, however, I'm starting to run out of time here. So, I did look up a clip that purports to be a deleted scene from the Facebook testimony before Senate. You know, when Zuckerberg went out in front of our government and somehow managed to come off creepier than Ted Cruz by a factor. But apparently there was a deleted scene. Let's see what it is.
Cells. Have you ever been in an institution?
By the way, Arketer, we cannot hear.
Do they keep you in a cell?
Audio from the video.
When you're not performing your duties, do they keep you in a little box?
I'm on my phone, so I can't do YouTube and Discord at the same time.
What's it like to hold the hand of someone you love? Interlinked. Do they teach you how to feel finger to finger? Interlinked. Do you long for having your heart interlinked? Interlinked. Do you dream about being interlinked? What's it like to hold your child in your arms? Interlinked. Do you feel that there's a part of you that's missing? Interlinked. Within cells, interlinked. Why don't you say that 3 times? Within cells, interlinked.
Within cells interlinked. Within cells interlinked. Within cells interlinked.
What am I missing?
We're done.
Apparently something funny.
K.
I would think so, yes.
You can pick up your bonus.
Thank you, sir.
Nope. Okay, well, in short, if you aren't inclined to rewatch that bit of the stream to find out what I was just laughing at so very hard but quietly, someone took a clip from that lovely testimony and basically edited it with the interlinked scene, the baseline scene from Blade Runner 20 whatever have you. The sequel. The baseline test. And it worked. Worked perfectly.
Zuckerberg is a fucking robot. I love the cut-up job that Computing Forever did with that video. Like, he made... put in, like, whatever Zuckerberg stopped working, he put in the whole dial-up noise or the blue screen of death noise and stuff. It was fucking funny. Oh, Arketer, before you go away, I'm going to post a screenshot in general. That is the quality of things I generally do in Space Engineers. Just, you know, shameless plug.
I love how, like, I've debunked pedophilia with so fucking calmly, but yeah, I can't stay calm about Doctor Who.
Ah, fine pair of Star Wars predecessors to the Destroyers.
They're actually modified Venator hulls.
Hmm. Oh, very nice. I do have Space Engineers, but it's been very long since I played it.
I would strongly recommend you go back into it again. They are doing a very, very, very serious update and multiplayer testing now, so the game actually lags a lot less than it used to. The game actually is in full beta now. I think it's beta 1.8 or something. I'm not sure.
Well, I would only hope they get to a proper release before they move on to the next. But it is looking good. Right. Well, until next time, if there's anything you want to plug properly, now's the time. If you have access to admin powers in the chat, feel free to put out any links you want. But for now, I must be signing out. And please tune in Saturday, where I may or may not have Opal as a guest. If I don't, then it will probably be another article wait unless another guest turns up in the last minute. We'll see. Until then, ostensibly oh, right. And after that live stream, about 4 hours hence, roughly, I will be on a stream with Vincent Veritas and his YouTube streaming associates. Should be very interesting. I'll be invading their set. Really fantastic. It's only a prayer after I had Vincent here. Right. Until next time, ostensibly, progress continues.
Bye, all.
Goodbye, Arketer.
Technology.
Bye, all.
Fuck the new Doctor Who.
Progress. Innovation.
Indeed.
Arketer Labs.
Here, here.